Well, thanks, Senator, and thank you all for being here. I don't think it's a mystery to anybody in the room, certainly not the folks behind me. American people are struggling. All their prices are higher, from lettuce to lumber. They can't afford their groceries. They can't afford to get to work. They can't afford their heating bills, their credit card bills. The world becomes more dangerous every single day. And I'm not just talking about faraway places that concern them, in their very own communities, And most of these problems are born out of Washington, D.C. And they sent us here to fight on their behalf so that they could afford to live in their homes and live their lives, and so that they don't have to live in fear, whether it's a wide open border or nuclear weapons being threatened somewhere around the globe. And so we're here to say we're going to fight for the American people. We've been fighting for them, and this is how we're going to do it. So the first thing that needs to happen is the spending in Washington, D.C. is driving the cost of everything up. Now, it's still too much for many of us, but was agreed to around Memorial Day was this FRA number of $1.59 trillion. No more gimmicks. Most of the House voted for it. Most of the Senate voted for it. That's where we have to be. Don't be adding stuff onto it. Let's write the appropriations bills. Let's get the spending bills right. Let's set that as the number. And then when we do that, let's start conferencing bills. We're calling on our friends in the Senate. My colleagues here that are with us today already agree with this. We need Senate leadership to put these bills to conference. Let's get the process started where the American people know what's being spent, know how their members vote, and know what it's being spent on. Next, reauthorization of FISA. It can't be hooked to anything. The federal government has spied on Americans, whether you're Catholic and you decided to go to church or whether you went to a school board meeting. This has to end. Reauthorization needs to stand on its own, and it needs to have significant reform. Finally, on any supplemental at all, the House is going to remain closed for business unless the country being supplemented is named Israel. And oh, by the way, these things have to be paid for. We're out of money, ladies and gentlemen. Next month, we'll go over $34 trillion in debt in this country, and next year we'll spend $1 trillion on interest. This has to end. If we want to spend money on things, we all get that, and we want to support our allies in Israel. But we're going to have to pay for those things, and there are ways to do it. That has to be done, has to be fully offset. So with that, in the absence of, okay, I'm going to turn to Bob Good from Virginia.